Welcome to NZ Pocket Guide's New Zealand Travel Show. Today we're going to be talking about everything traveling in New Zealand because we kind of are the experts behind the New Zealand's largest travel guide, NZ Pocket Guide. So if you have questions about traveling to beautiful New Zealand, where we are in New Zealand right now, you can see us enjoying it right here in all those photos, and we will answer all your questions. But why should people ask us questions? Like, why us?
Well, this is Robin and I'm Laura, and we're the team behind NZPocketGuide.com, which is New Zealand's largest travel guide because it literally has thousands and thousands of articles to help you plan the perfect trip to New Zealand, which is 100% free to browse. So that's definitely a good place to start when doing your research to come to New Zealand. But if you're not really into reading, because there are quite a lot of words on that website, you can come and ask your New Zealand travel questions directly to us during this live show that we do every single Sunday at 8 a.m. New Zealand time. And if you want a reminder of when these live sessions are happening, then you can always subscribe, click on the notification bell, and you will get a nice handy notification when the next live show is starting. And alternatively, there is a link in the description below which tells you when it's going to be in your selected time zone. So that's always handy as well. But yeah, come on, guys, ask your questions directly to us in the live chat and we will answer all we can.
All right, so we're starting with Violet Zulu all the way from South Africa saying good morning. She's already there waiting. We also have Anthony Comstock saying Morena from Rodeo, California, with a bunch of emojis, which is epic. Got so many people right now. What does Morena mean? So first up,
it means good morning in the Maori language, which is the indigenous language of New Zealand.
We also have Extreme Talota saying Morena. So everybody is up this morning. Tamo, one of our lovely Patreons, says good evening. He's all the way in Estonia, so yeah, it is the other time there. Okay, what is Nathan saying?
Nathan says, Kia ora, morena, everyone.
How are you doing, Nathan? How is it going for you in Taupo? Adil Mula is talking to you.
Yes, saying, Kia ora, Robin and Laura. Where can the activity that's mentioned in the poll be done?
You have to wait the end of the live session and we'll cover that. So what we're going to be doing from now on for the poll is that we're going to ask you guys some questions and then we'll cover that at the end of the video. But that's a good segue. I really appreciate that, mate. Let's talk about the question of the day. All right, it is time for you guys to vote. There is a poll right now in the live chat of the live session right now. And if you're watching a replay of this video, you can always put it in the comments section of the video. So have you ever been skiing down an active volcano? The answers are yes, no, or where can I do that? So here you go. Make sure that you get busy voting. We already have 17 votes, which is pretty epic. Another thing you can be doing if you want to keep busy with all those little fingers of yours, you can click the like button, you can hit subscribe. It's always a fun time.
Lots of things to do with
your
fingers.
All right, what is Bedward King having to say?
Bedward's King says Morena, Robin and Laura.
There you go.
Nice.
And then who are we welcoming right here?
Christina Holden, our latest Patreon, is here saying Kia ora all.
Yeah, how are you doing, Christina? Thank you so much for joining us on Patreon. You're going to have 2 live sessions today. You're going to join our first Patreon exclusive live session. I have a fun games for you guys as well at the ready. So that's going to be a ton of fun. Speaking of Patreon, who's there?
Clay, another one of our Patreons, says, does a small jog, then stopping quickly and sliding for ages count as skiing when coming down from the crater of the Tongariro crossing? Those small rocks may as well be snow.
You know what? One day somebody's going to bring a surfboard and go down this scree.
Yeah.
I agree with that. And so obviously that's a strong hint for everybody with the poll right now. So yeah, it is near the Tongariro crossing that you can do that.
But it isn't the Tongariro crossing.
It is not. It is not. Do not bring a pair of ski. I mean, you can. It's just going to be a lot of things you carry when doing the Tongariro crossing. By the way, if you are looking to know what the Tongariro crossing entails and all that, there is a complete guide of the Tongariro crossing available on the channel now.
Nathan says, what are some of your highlights from the South Island?
That's a question I've never heard before.
Yeah.
That's a brand new question for me,
Nathan. So every
Nathan.
week, Nathan is asking us this question. We are basically challenging ourselves at this point to come up with a different answer every single week. So, Robin, do you have a different answer this week?
Of course I do have a different answer.
Okay,
Do
off
you
you
have a
go.
different answer?
It will come to me in just a sec while you are talking.
All right, so if I have to pick one place to go on the South Island right now, I will pick the Catlins. It's a fantastic area to do an epic road trip. There is a lot of different pit stop, and so if you do have your own vehicle, exploring the Catlins is absolutely amazing. You can literally do it in one day, or you can do it in a week, and you still will be busy for the whole time. Some highlights include Curio Bay, where you can see a petrified forest, and you can also see yellow-eyed penguin in the wild. Make sure that you stay at least 8 to 10 meters away from them. Please respect the beautiful wildlife. There is also Maclean Falls, which looks absolutely amazing. It's a climbable waterfall where you can take some epic pictures, and there is also Waipapa Point, where you can see amazing sea lions and a really picturesque lighthouse. Obviously, I'm not going to expand on Nugget Point just because everybody knows about Nugget Point. But if you don't, it's a really amazing lighthouse and great to watch the sunset.
Okay. So today, I actually think I picked the Catlins a few weeks ago. So, I mean, it still counts if you choose somewhere different.
Okay. I did cheat.
And then for me, I think today I will pick the Nelson Lakes National Park. So this is, you can pop into Lake Rotoiti, which is kind of the main sort of lake that most people go and see. You can pop into Lake Rotoiti on your way between Nelson and going towards Westport on the west coast. And that has a beautiful jetty where you have beautiful mountains in the background, and it's a really good photo spot. I think a lot of people have probably seen the pictures from Lake Rotoiti when they've been doing any research about the South Island. But if you want to go to a more hidden gem, then Lake Rotorua, not Rotorua, but Rotorua, is another lake in the Nelson Lakes National Park where it's much more quieter. It's got some really nice short walks, even multi-day hikes around there, and even a campsite nearby. So if you do have more time, Lake Rotorua in the Nelson Lakes National Park is pretty awesome.
All right, David Burrow, which is another one of our absolutely fantastic Patreon. He's been here almost from the beginning, and he says, I spent much of this morning reading through articles on your website. Thanks for all the hard work you put in it.
Oh, you're very welcome.
He's referring to nzpocketguide.com. There is a link in the description of this video, and yeah, it's literally the largest travel guide of the country, and it takes a lot of work. Thank you so much, David. Helen Wilkinson says, good evening from England. She has a question as well. She said, do you have an up-to-date passenger arrival card on your page? And can you go through the traveler declaration form? So for the New Zealand traveler declaration form, I have a full video that I published this week on the channel. So you can watch that video. For sure, I will find you a link and put it on there. And for the passenger arrival card, you just have to do a quick search on the site, and I will show you that right now. Actually, Laura will show you that right now. So boom, bam.
Yeah, so first of all, it is up to date. I literally updated it like a week ago or something. So head to nzpocketguide.com.
Yep.
And
type passenger arrival card. And
then search passenger arrival card. And you will have, hopefully the first result, if our search is working well this week, it will be the first result that comes up when you search, and then you can, is the search working? Just a little bit of we're putting the internet through its paces by doing this live show as well. But yeah, first result that you come up with when you search passenger arrival card, and then you've got a very detailed article which goes over both the New Zealand declaration form, which is a new form that you have to do before arriving in New Zealand, and then toward the end of the article we go through everything you need to know about the passenger arrival card. So that has some extra tips on how to fill it out, also has some images on what that new passenger arrival card looks like. So yeah, check that out, and that is all up to date.
All right, so yeah, so as you saw, it was up to date on there. I'm actually also doing a video about the passenger arrival card. Literally, I'm recording it after this live session and after the Patreon live session. So this afternoon, I'm recording it. It should come out either this week or next week. Next week, we also have a video about the NZDT, which is a visa and a levy fee that a lot of people have to pay to come in. And that's going to come out next week as well. So next Thursday as well, that's coming out. So that's, well, no, sorry, next week we have the passenger arrival card, the week after we have NZDTA. But the very next live session as well is going to be all about the passenger arrival card, NZDTA, travel declaration form and everything. We're doing a special live session at the same time right now, but we will cover all three of those items because we are so close to travelers being able to get back to New Zealand. We just want to make sure that all the paperwork is non-frightening. So we will cover everything all together. So here you go. There is a lot of information for you, Helen. I just need to get back. I was just finding the link. Okay, we were somewhere here. Here we were with Maddie.
Okay, Maddie says hello from Iowa, USA.
Woo!
Hello, or howdy, should I say, in your native tongue. B plus N says, good morning. It's starting to get colder in the mornings.
It is definitely. There's the heater over there, just like cranking it up.
Yes.
Cranking it up. If you want to see what, just. So if you look right here, just next to Laura, you can see there's a bit of a dark patch. That's where the door is. We have a heater that's blowing hot air just right here. So yeah. We definitely can feel the cold. All right. What is Nathan saying?
We have Nathan saying, I've skied down Mount Ruapehu multiple times.
Here's the answer for the question of the day. Here you go. You've got your answer. Anthony.
Oh yeah, the funny thing is I'm time traveling right now.
You are time traveling?
I mean, everybody who watches our live show from another time zone is time traveling.
Yeah. And Clay usually. So Clay is the local from Dunedin, one of our Patreon. He's watching our live session all the time, and he's always time traveling because every single time he's watching us, despite the fact that it's 8 a.m., he's acting like it's 8 p.m. and he's drinking beer while watching us. So here you go. He's time traveling every time.
Okay.
What is B plus N?
Oh, B plus N says, hi, Maddie, we're from neighbouring states.
Oh.
Fun.
Nice. But now B plus N's are based in New Zealand.
Yes.
Yeah. Big dealer in the house. How are you doing, mate? All the way from South America. We really have a small amount of viewers from South America, so I always love when he's showing up, and he says, hi, guys.
Hello. We have G. Ramakrishna saying, hi, sir, how are you? When you open New Zealand border in India, I get job in New Zealand, but I am waiting for the borders to reopen, I think.
Okay, so at this stage, the border reopening, here you go, Clay, do a bit of time travel. So the borders of New Zealand for people which are currently in India looking to get themselves a work visa in the country are probably going to reopen around October 2022. That's the current official date that has been announced. It may be moved forward, but at this stage, that's the date that we have. Immigration New Zealand will reopen around that date as well in order to start processing visas.
Nice. We have Helen's. We already read Helen's.
So Helen, you were asking about the passenger arrival card. So we have an up-to-date on the site. I've also given you the video where we cover the travel arrival form. And again, I'm going to have a video literally on Thursday coming out about the passenger arrival card, and then, or maybe the NZDTA or vice versa. And the week after, we will have a video on the NZDTA or the passenger arrival card or vice versa. I need to have the time to edit those videos. But if you show up next week at the same time, we literally will be going over everything literally during this video. It's going to be a special paperwork extravaganza of coming to New Zealand. We know it's a stressful thing. I know it's really boring, but I also know how important it is to just get that right and relieve of that stress. So we've decided to dedicate an entire live show about it.
We have Michael Stewart saying, hello. Hello, Michael Stewart.
How are you doing, Michael?
We also have Maddie saying, have you guys ever done the Milford track? Is it worth the time if only visiting New Zealand for 3 weeks? We would love to hear about your experience. I like how you just answered the question with nods and shakes and stuff.
All right, so the Milford Track is obviously fantastic. The Fjordan National Park is totally worth exploring. It's really stellar. But if you guys don't know, it's one of the great walks of New Zealand, and it is the most expensive of all the great walks that you can do in New Zealand. Is it really worth doing when you only have 3 weeks in New Zealand? Do you get something really different than the other thing you could be doing, like a one-day walk around the Fiordland National Park, and also the cruise in Milford Sound, for example.
Or even just a 2-day walk like the Rootburn track.
Exactly. So in my opinion, no, it is not. If you just have such a small amount of time to come and travel around New Zealand, definitely, if you want to experience a great walk of New Zealand, as Laura has mentioned, the great walk called the Rootburn track is shorter, and I think will give you a similar experience, and it's also much cheaper. Another thing that you can keep in mind is that just going to Milford Sound and doing the cruise over there, you get the grandest and most beautiful views of the Milford Sound National Park already. And I feel like just doing the hike, it's literally just to tick that from your bucket list more than anything. And again, it's just my personal opinion. A lot of people are going to tell you it's essential, blah, blah. It's just my personal opinion. For having done that much in New Zealand, it is definitely not an essential thing to do. There's plenty of amazing walk to do around the Fiordland National Park, which are just one day, and that will give you similar experiences. And also just doing the cruise, you'll get the best views. So I personally wouldn't plan such a long walk and an expensive walk during my only 3-week trip to New Zealand. And in fact, I don't think that we have included it on any of the trip suggestions that we have, trip itinerary on the site, right? For 3 days?
No, not. Especially, like, it's more of a thing to do if you know you're staying here for quite a while, like a lot of people that are staying here for a few months or even a year on working holiday visas. It fits more into those itineraries. But the Milford track is it's a bit of an oddity in terms of multi-day hikes in New Zealand, like Robin said, in the fact that it's really expensive. Also, it's one of the first fully booked out sort of tracks.
You have to, but there is also a time and stress constraint in trying to just book the Milford track. It is such a pain to book.
And the other thing I just want to also hit is that the Milford track is kind of a more sort of commercialized hiking trail where, you know, when you get to the end, you're getting back to the Milford Marina where there's a lot of people about. It feels very touristy, and that's usually a very opposing sort of feeling people are trying to get when they're doing a multi-day hike and they want to feel the experience the wilderness, the tranquility, being somewhere where you can feel kind of, in a place that not many people get to. Well, with the Milford track, that's usually the biggest disappointment with that hike, is that you don't really get that experience so much, because you also have walking tour groups as well coming that are doing guided hikes there.
So that's the track. I mean, the sceneries are amazing. Let's just make that clear, right? Another point about that as well is that although all the huts alongside the Milford track are absolutely amazing, they're really stunning. They're the latest huts and everything. They're always fully booked, so you don't have like that feeling of like in the evening, you just get the whole national park to yourself. Like you will have on like Stewart Island and places like that. You are literally with a group of other 100 people with you, and so it's kind of like trailblazing more than anything.
It's I just say it's possibly the most overrated hiking trail in New Zealand.
Hot take! Wow!
Yes.
Okay.
So there is a million other different like multi-day hiking trails that go in just as stunning scenery, but actually give you that sort of experience of, being in the wilderness.
Yeah. So, Maddie, if you're currently planning your trip to New Zealand, let me just show you something on the site NZ Pocket Guide right here. If you go on trip IDs right here, and you said you have 3 weeks, so you can go to 21 days right here. Laura has prepared itineraries of all different type of styles that you have, like budget, honeymoon, family, luxury, foodie, and you have entire itinerary pre-done entirely just for you. So let's say you want to really treat yourself, go to a luxury right here, and you have entirely done itinerary for you that you can just follow and pick what you'd like out of all the suggestions that we have. And that's a really, really fantastic base for you to get started on planning an itinerary to New Zealand. So I just wanted to point that out. So you go on nzpocketguide.com, then on trip IDs, and then obviously for you go for 21 days. So just wanted you to know that exists.
So I hope that answered your question, Maddie. And I hope it obviously wasn't much of a disappointing answer. Of course, that's just
the most overrated walk in New Zealand.
That is just our opinion, and
actually, most overrated great walk, because I know which one is the most overrated walk in New Zealand for sure.
Okay, most overrated great walk. But that's just our opinion, obviously, and we have done extensive travel around New Zealand, done multiple hikes. We've done day walks on the Milford Track, but we haven't actually like done the entire thing just because it's been so hard to organize. So yeah, we do have obviously extensive knowledge on the country, so we have an informed opinion, but it is an opinion at that. So obviously,
and your trip is going to be your own.
Exactly.
So
your trip
you
is
decide
your
for
own.
yourself, right?
Yes.
I don't want to be blamed.
Yes.
No term and conditions apply.
But we hope we'll give you some extra information.
All right, moving on.
Okay.
What is Clay saying?
Clay says, if we went to Uruguay to visit family, how easy is it for us to come back being Kiwis? A task or a walk back in?
Well, you will have to do the passenger declaration form. You will have to prove, to do the COVID-19 test. You still have to do all those steps. So I'd say, I don't think all those things are going to stay for absolutely ever, right? So if you want to go like literally this year, you probably will have to jump through a few hoops and show your nimble paperwork skills. But if you don't feel the pressure of going just this year just yet, maybe just give it another year. And that's personally would be my approach. I would wait a little longer. I just wouldn't want to have to do all the nonsense. What is Nathan having to say?
Nathan says, oops, sorry I gave the answer to everyone. That's all right, Nathan. Probably some people weren't paying attention by that part. People are in and out. It's fine.
If you guys want to say thank you to Nathan for spoiling the answer of the poll, make sure to hit the like button. It's a great free way to reward all our hard work, and YouTube is just prompting me to do that.
Yeah.
Damn, I'm just working for the robots nowadays.
Clay says, I wouldn't have it in any other way. I'm from a town known for its beer. What can I say?
He's talking about his time traveling skills.
Yeah. I mean, he has to. He has to have his
yeah.
beer fix in the morning. It is the way of a Dunedinite. Is it Dunedinite?
I can't
we talked
remember.
about
I already
week?
forgot. Ooh, that's a chocolate fish. That's really nice.
Michael says, question. How are you able to pay for all the things and activities?
So are you asking what payment method are accepted in New Zealand? So you you can pay pretty much with everything. You can pay with cash. You can pay with your credit cards. And many different ways. However, if you pay with your credit card from back home, you probably will have an extra fee to pay. As a conversion fee. So it's always easier to kind of get some cash out and do some exchange. Don't do any money exchange at the airport. We do have some suggestions on NZ Pocket Guide. Some of the best way to do money exchange are to actually get your cash, go in town, and there's one place to do money exchange on Queen Street, hidden in a little corner, which we get the address somewhere. And I always find is the cheapest one. So,
we do have an article on nzpocketguide.com, which is the best places to do currency exchange in New Zealand. So you can get more details of where in Auckland, Christchurch, Wellington, and Queenstown is best to do that.
All right. So that was a bit of a weirdly worded questions, Michael. So if you meant something else, just make sure to put it in the comments, and we'll go over it again if you want to elaborate on it.
Yes.
What is G having to say?
G says, when you start to apply for work visa in New Zealand, I am from India.
So you have to wait for Immigration New Zealand to be reopened, so probably in October 2022. We will post some updates if there are any. Maddie says, thank you, I appreciate your thoughts. You're very welcome. Again, this trip is your own, so you don't blame us, please.
B+N says, maybe do the Doubtful Sound Day Cruise and the Milford Sound Day Cruise instead of the Milford Track. I would say do one of those cruises.
Yeah.
Not both, because they are very similar. The Doubtful Sound Day Cruise is longer. First of all, it's a longer time on the water. So I think it's about 2 to 3 hours actually doing the cruise compared to Milford Sound, which is about 45 minutes to an hour on the water.
Depending on which cruise you take, you can take the longer cruise on Milford Sound, but
it's not really much of a longer. The only longer cruise on Milford Sound is the overnight cruise.
Yeah, okay. Yeah.
So they all are pretty much the same length of time.
I've done 2 cruises in Milford Sound. Laura has done pretty much all of them. So yeah.
I would definitely just choose one of the cruises. Doubtful Sound is really great for, like, if you do have the whole day to do it. That is my personal favorite cruise to do. But Milford Sound Day Cruise means that you can sort of do independent travel on the way down to Milford Sound. Means you can stop off at some short walks and have the time to do more your own thing. And then just do the, 45 minutes to an hour cruise once you arrive.
All right.
Michael has an emoji.
Yeah, an emoji of the Indian flag. Then we have Kiwi Lauren saying, hey team, I have the video on mute at the moment because the family is watching Smallfoot. Pretty cute little movie. Snow is finally melting over here. We are trading seasons with New Zealand. Hope you're well. We're very well, thank you very much, but you won't hear me say that since you have the video on mute. So
Yeah.
I don't really know what's going on. But yeah, we are trading seasons. So yeah, New Zealand right now is slowly making its way toward winter. And this is why B+N was saying, B+N, they are in the Bay of Plenty area. And they say it's getting cold. We are in central Northern, so it's getting colder. So yeah, you know, you feel for me more, but yeah, no, it's getting definitely pretty cold right here, and soon we'll be able to ski down an active volcano. And hence the question of the day: have you ever skied down the slopes of an active volcano? And yes, no, or where can you do that? So answer right now. All right, we have Robert Laliberte here.
Saying, in my life, I've seen plenty of boulders, admittedly not round ones such as the Moeraki boulders, considering you were stupid in the first place to go there at high tide. Laura's words, not mine. To my...
Rude. Rude,
I don't know
Robert.
if this follows on to what you were just saying, but
Yeah.
to my way of thinking, if you put a lipstick on a pig, it's still a pig, no matter its shape. A rock is a rock. I scratched this from our plans. Am I going to regret this?
Okay, so in short, is it worth to do a big detour to go to the Moeraki boulders? Honestly, if you're a photographer and you want to get those shots, they are really unique shots you can get. Obviously, you do have to plan with the tide. And yeah. Now, do you really have to put that on an itinerary? I'm not 100% sure that's really
I'm
the
guessing
case.
from your tone that you may be not that impressed by...
Yeah.
You
I'm
may,
just about to put the Moeraki boulders.
you might
but-
not be impressed by rocks and boulders, and I'm guessing that is kind of the by the way you're phrasing it and stuff. I'm kind of guessing that boulders are not, you know, high on your priority list. So I don't think you will regret missing the Moeraki boulders. And
They're by here.
yeah,
They're by here on the map.
but not in the middle of the. Oh, sorry.
Sorry, I'm moving it. Lower. Here
Between Dunedin and
Yeah.
Oamaru. So yeah, I don't think you'll regret missing them at all, judging by what you've said, and they are a little bit of a pain in the bum to visit when you are, because they are kind of in the middle of nowhere, and timing your visit with low tide, when is the best time to actually see them, it could be a little bit tricky. So yeah, I mean, by all means, just scratch them off the list.
Yeah. Just the way you phrased it make me feel that you're probably not too keen on that. So yeah, don't go there. And if you are in the Northland area, there is the Kotu boulders, which are, which exist as well. So here you go. But you have to go in Northland. You have to make an even larger detour. So I will maybe not. I have to say, just before we continue with all the comments right now, I have to say, I love the fact that we're finally talking about traveling in New Zealand.
Yeah.
How good does it feel, guys? How amazing is it that we're finally talking about things to do and traveling in New Zealand? Man, I'm so excited. Anyway, let's keep going.
Yeah, okay. Clay says, you like chocolate fish, but not Marmite?
Okay, I like chocolate fish. I obviously will pick...
Chocolate fish are all right.
I
I mean, they're not Whittaker's.
Yeah, they're not Whittaker's chocolate. They're not a big block of Whittaker's chocolate I can bite on. But yeah, no, I mean, they're sweet and they're nice. Marmite, it's Star Seal, so,
They're slightly better than Marmite, I guess. Kristen Bell says, Robin, when you corrected Laura to say Milford Track is the most overrated great walk, and you said you know what the most overrated walk is, which walk are you referring to?
All right, I'm gonna add a qualifier right here for you, Kristen. It's obviously, in my opinion, which one is the most overrated walk, right? My opinion, this is super. This is something that is, there is no data on this, but I will personally say that I think the most overrated walk in New Zealand is Roy's Peak in Wanaka. And I know everybody sees it on Instagram. It's like, it's amazing. But to go get that shot, it's literally just going uphill. It's really, you get similar views than what you get from literally nearby the roads driving and seeing all the lakes from Wanaka. You don't get anything too different. And then when you have that little ridge walk where everybody takes that photo and is like, oh, super Instagram-like and blah, blah, blah. As you can tell, I love social media. But yeah, literally you very often have to actually queue. There is a bunch of people stopped and they queue to go take that shot and jump. And everybody is always trying to make that hike look completely empty. It's not. There is an actual queue of people trying to get that shot, and then you keep on going. There is a lot of people. The walk is not that exceptional, and it's quite hard. I mean, it's breathtaking in just a physical way. And the views are nice, but you have similar views literally from the lakefront of Wanaka. That's my personal opinion. Obviously, if you absolutely want to get that shot and you think that is going to be, one of your greatest life achievements, you get social media recognition by posting that shot and having all your friends clicking like, you absolutely should do it. Your trip to New Zealand should be your own. I just have an opinion on that walk just because it is, in my opinion, way too overrepresented in the landscape of photos about New Zealand, especially now that a lot of people are planning their trip by just scrolling down Instagram and seeing a few photos and say, I want to go here, here, and there. Just my very opinionated opinion. Yeah. Laura, do you have an overrated walk, by the way? Do you have a different opinion? Or?
Not a different opinion at all. I actually think that is probably yes, I agree. I actually do agree that is the most overrated.
The experts agree. Then maybe a fact. Maybe a fact.
I think the extra thing just to add is that it's mostly walking through like paddocks and sheep fields, which I personally don't feel are the sort of nicest landscapes to look at compared to in New Zealand. There's a lot of beautiful forests and a lot of more natural landscapes that I personally prefer to walk through. So that is just why I also feel like it's a little bit, just not my cup of tea. But I hope that answers your question, Kirsten Bell.
Michael Stewart says, Jesus Christ, I meant you did the 360 days activities. I'm asking how were you able to pay for all those activities? That's what he meant. Sorry about that. I didn't get the whole meaning behind.
Jesus Christ!
I like the emphasis on the Jesus many E's. I did like that. So obviously at the time we were already running New Zealand's largest travel guide. It was under a different name called Backpacker Guide on NZ. Now it's called NZ Pocket Guide. So we already had quite a lot of contact throughout the industry, and we were able to work with them. We did get quite a lot of discounts, so we did definitely not pay full price for most of those activities. And if you do notice as well, for each of the paid activity that we've done, there was pretty much 2 or 3 free activities every time. So that definitely did help with budget when things were getting a little bit tight. That's basically how we were affording that, having contact over there, because they obviously did get they thought they would be getting decent exposure. Turned out nobody's watching New Zealand's biggest gap year, so the exposure was just alright, but we're giving them our photos and everything, so it was a good exchange of services right here. So we definitely did get some discount, because otherwise, there was no way we were able to do that many activities. But we were doing a mix of like free things, some paid things, and working with them as well. So that's how it worked.
Nathan says, are you planning on going up to Maurupehu to go skiing in winter?
Are we doing this year?
Probably not. Because we've
been many years.
we've been up there quite a few times, and snowboarding and skiing is not the most affordable hobby to have. So
we are recovering from COVID, and we are tourism business, guys. Our budgets at the moment are stretched to their thinnest of all limits.
Yeah, so I think we're going to be quite adults about this year. We're going to save our pennies and do some nice free hikes this year, instead of blowing it all on a season pass and stuff for Maurupehu. But we've done it many times. We feel like we scratched that itch, I think.
Itch scratched.
Itch has been scratched.
Helen Wilkinson has a very strong statement, and she said, I love Marmite. Any follow-up on that?
Well, at least somebody does.
Oh! It is opinion central today. Oh my God. We respect, obviously, your opinion.
We missed Michael's comment.
Oh,
what?
Robin,
I really doubt Robert is being rude. It's called giving your own opinion.
No, Robert's never been rude. So, Michael, Robert comes here quite regularly, and he's quite a cheeky guy. So, yeah. No, I know he's not. He's not being rude. Don't worry.
Nathan says, where's Weet-Bix?
Oh yeah, Weet-Bix.
He's over there.
Sorry, I usually pick it up during the Patreon live session. I put it here because sometimes Laura doesn't show up, so he's here. But he's right there. Look, he's here. He's fine. Okay. All right.
Okay, where are we at? We are at Robert's saying, not keen on it. How come you haven't done an episode on Castle Hill? Not a boulder enthusiast yourself?
How come we don't? I don't know. It just didn't. That's the thing. You know, we
Yeah.
always say for New Zealand's biggest gap year, we could literally do it all over again and be able to do 365 different activities. There is that much to do in New Zealand. Because we did like elephant rocks, and we did some similar items to that. We thought maybe we don't necessarily have to do Castle Hill, but yeah, no, we don't mind bouldering and climbing and everything. We don't have our own equipment though, so that's something that you kind of would have to organize because there's no really a company that will take you there. You'll have to organize getting your own equipment. But no, we do like bouldering and climbing. Actually, literally, we went climbing not that long ago. And I have 2 climbing related videos which I need to edit, and I may all come out on the channel in a couple of months. I have a backlog of editing to do.
So that's if you're that's if Robert's referring to bouldering as a sport, or just boulders as in looking at big boulders.
Oh yeah. Well, I think he's referring to bouldering as a sport. What would you just look at the boulder?
Because they're quite cool to look at.
That's a large boulder.
We went to Elephant Rocks, and we have a video on the channel of Elephant Rocks, which is
we did more than one thing in that day, though.
Yeah, but we went to Elephant Rocks to literally just check out the rocks.
Yeah,
it's a fun thing to do, and that's also a fun thing for people to go to Castle Hill just to take a look at the rocks. They're fun to look at. They're strange sort of rock formations. That is what New Zealand's all about, right? Going around looking at some strange different formations that you're like, that's cool. Like pancake rocks, for example. Anyway.
When she's right, she's right.
Moving on, we have a cat saying, "Hi, is there still pre-departure testing required after May 1st for visa waiver countries, even if you are fully vaccinated?"
Yes.
Yes. So, Kat,
I don't like to go through.
Kat, what you
Yes.
need to do is you need to do some research on the New Zealand Traveller Declaration. This will give you everything you need on what sort of tests you need to do for COVID before coming to New Zealand, what proof you need to provide to show that you are fully vaccinated. And we do have a video on the channel which Robin's going to put in the live chat right now, and so you have like a link to that traveller declaration, and that will give you a traveller pass which you need in order to come into New Zealand. It has a QR code, and that gives the information the authorities in New Zealand need to know about you, and if you're fully vaccinated, that you tested negative for coming to New Zealand. But that traveller pass also gives information to you to tell you what you need to do once you arrive in New Zealand, whether you need to do self-testing once you arrive in New Zealand, or whether you just need to do nothing, So you'll get all the information you need more concerning your question from the Traveller Declaration form. So check that out. We do also have an article on nzpocketguide.com. So if you search Traveller Declaration on nzpocketguide.com, you will get a whole article explaining everything about that. So hope that is clear and answers your question, Kat, so you can find out more information about that.
Kat, there is a link for you in the live chat right now. Just put it. And also, if you come back next week, literally at the same time, we are going to do an entire live session, 1 hour, where we're going to talk about all the different paperwork that you may or may not did for coming to New Zealand. We're just preparing that, and we're going to do a whole special live show about that. So yeah, come back. David Burrow, one of our lovely Patreons, says, "What do you think is the most underrated place in New Zealand?" That's a good question. Underrated place in New Zealand. What do you think?
It's also quite hard to answer because I think there's a lot of underrated places. So
yeah,
it's
the
hard
most
to,
is
it's
hard
hard
to
pick
the
the
most.
underrated place.
Pick one. I pick one if you want.
Do you have one in your mind?
Yeah,
or?
Stewart Island. Not
Okay,
enough
off you
people go
go.
to Stewart Island. That's crazy. I absolutely love Stewart Island. I think everybody should go there. Why? Why are you not planning that on your itinerary? If you are currently planning a trip to New Zealand and Stewart Island is not on your itinerary, why is it so? Tell me in the comments. I really want to know. No, but jokes aside, I think Stewart Island is amazing. It's a wildlife paradise. I'm really into wildlife, so that's usually kind of why I'm usually drawn more to those kind of places. It's the only place in New Zealand where I saw a kiwi bird in the wild. She didn't. She couldn't spot it. But yeah, that's why I think Stewart Island, definitely.
Yeah.
What about yours?
I'll pick something from the North Island. So perhaps Taranaki. That area is very underrated. People tend to not really bother when, traveling that way. But the the national park surrounding Mount Taranaki is absolutely stunning. Some of the best forest that I've seen in New Zealand. Really like crazy moss everywhere. It just like looks like something out of a fairy tale.
Yeah.
So Taranaki area is really cool. And if you do have like that little bit of extra time in the North Island, then definitely head over that way. Okay, we have Michael saying, "Shut up, Clay." I don't know if we've passed some comments.
Yeah,
right now.
Michael and Clay are having a bit. Clay's drunk and Michael is teasing him.
Yeah. Okay, Moustache.
Moustache. Bonjour, Moustache.
Moustache. Do you want to give? Who are we giving the
Yes, Moustache. Moustache for
the
sure.
username of
Moustache.
the week award to?
You get. Yay! Moustache has the best username of the week. Boom, boom. That was a good call,
Alright.
Laura. I like it. I like the
Score.
fact you picked Moustache. That was a good one.
Okay, so Moustache says your favorite cabin in the woods escape.
Well, to be fair, I mean, a lot of the great walks in New Zealand offers like this cabin in the woods escape, because a lot of the, not necessarily great walk, but multi-day walk, that's what I wanted to say. A lot of those, you'll end up being the only one in the hut, which is quite cool. So yeah, when it comes down to like the best ones, I don't know which one I'd pick. Like which one of the multi-day hike, which is not a great walk, would you pick as your favorite?
So one really cool one is the Aotea Track, which is on Great Barrier Island. This is an island that a lot of people, not that many people get to, but it does have a really cool multi-day walk on there. And that is just off the coast of Auckland, so you can take a really short flight to get there. And the Aotea Track has some amazing huts right on top of mountains where you can see surrounding islands and forest from there. So that's a really cool one. Yeah, that's the first one that came to my head. So I think that's a good place to start. But we do have articles on nzpocketguide.com, which are the best alternatives to the great walks in New Zealand. So if you don't want to pay for staying in a great walk in New Zealand, the huts are about $30 to $100 per night. If you want to pay more, $5 to $15 per night. This article, The Alternatives to the Great Walks in New Zealand, will show you the best of those walks that are actually far cheaper. So go check out that article on nzpocketguide.com.
Here you go. Where are we at right now? So yeah, Clay's drunk, and Clay say it would be a surprise if I was sober. Here you go. Nathan says, would you do another biggest gap year if you had the time? It's all about time and money. Would I do it again? Yes, for sure, 100%. Just time and money is obviously going to take quite a lot. You do know that we are really into sustainable travel. We dedicate most of our life into actually promoting sustainable travel, especially in the South Pacific nations. So all the money that we make, we reinvest it in those kind of projects. We barely pay ourselves, and all we make, we basically put them into those kind of projects and things like that. So it's not really something we'll be able to afford anytime soon. And also time-wise, obviously, a lot of our time and effort is spent into creating travel guides for the South Pacific to promote sustainable travel and all that. I've been doing a lot of work and typing about those things lately, so I could talk about it for hours, but I won't. In short, if I had the time and money to do it, hell yeah. And I can answer for Laura, she will say yes.
Yes.
There's no way she wouldn't.
Babyface says, Kia ora.
Kia ora, Babyface, how are you doing? And what is Jaro saying? One of our lovely Patreon.
Well, Jaro has a question that Robin would like to say.
No, I think I would like to really answer this question, but I think Laura will have to read it for me to answer it.
Okay, salut, comment ça va?
Salut, comment ça va? So obviously Jaro is saying hi, how are you in French? I'm doing really well. Thank you very much, mate. Jaro is one of our awesome Patreon all the way from France. And speaking of Patreon, I just say hi to all our Patreons right here. Here you go. Boom. Hey guys, if you want to join us on Patreon, you will get access to a ton of amazing perks, such as an extra live session every single week, a secret Facebook group where you can hang out with us, and all of that and many more actually, help with planning your trips and even more. There's a ton of perks. The list is on Patreon. There's a link in the description below. And all that for the cost of a cup of coffee a month. It starts at only $5 a month, and it's genuinely help us keep the lights on right here, which is pretty awesome. We have some awesome Patreon at the producer level, Beverly, Fabio, Tamo, and Clay. And we have some also awesome Patreon at the supporter level: Anthony, Joey, David, Jaro, Natasha, Oriol, Sander, Hidden Hammock, and the newest one, Christina, which brings our little group to 13. It's unlucky number 13, so we definitely need another one of you guys to join us. So we are moving past 13 and moving on to the 14, 15, 20, and 1 million supporters on Patreon, so we can take this show to a next level. All right, so that's it for the plug. Let's go back to the live show. Who's next?
Okay, so we have a suggestion for one of the most underrated places from Clay, which is Milton,
Oh, damn it.
of course.
I stuffed up the username again. I need to learn to do that. I was like, oh, I remember to do it for the question. Anyway.
All right, so yeah, Clay says Milton for being one of the most underrated places in New Zealand.
Yeah, it definitely is underrated.
Yeah.
That's for sure. Maddie says, is it expensive to go to Stewart Island? Well, expensive as time-wise, usually it is. And that's usually where there is a bigger sticking point for most people, because it does take you kind of far away from the main tourist road around New Zealand. So usually in time-wise, it will take you about 3 days, a day to get there and then spend there and then coming back. However, price-wise, it's only about $85. No, one way.
Or one way.
85 return ferry one way. So it's not too expensive, and for kids it's 45. All right.
Cool.
Moving on to the next question. Sorry, I'm just gonna use the app to turn off the heater because
It's
I'm
getting too
right,
hot now.
I'm like boiling right here. Laura, you read questions while I'm.
Extreme Talauta says, see you next week. Have a great day.
Bye bye. Thank you
See
so much for
Thanks
popping in.
for popping in. Autumn Day 08 says.
That's a nice name too.
Username.
No, Autumn Day. You need to come back next week so I can give you the award of the best username.
Yeah. Hi,
Can't give it twice in a
Hi,
week. That's
Robin
madness.
and Laura. Just wanted to say that I love your website. It has been an invaluable resource in helping me plan my trip to New Zealand this December. My question is that it seems that most major bus companies, Intercity, great sites, have closed most of their day tours. Do you know if booking will reopen soon? I will be traveling during the holidays and I'm afraid they will book out. So Intercity and Great Sites are the same company, so that might be why you're seeing that they're not taking bookings, because they are the same company. They should be taking... No?
All right, let's talk about
Robin.
Intercity. Yes, I've done some research when helping Joey plan an itinerary around New Zealand. It's one of the Patreon perks that we have, so if you do need some help to plan your itinerary, we're here to help. So you may want to consider that, Autumn. But yeah, so I did some research on Intercity, and basically what they're doing at the moment is that they're releasing routes really late in the year. So that doesn't mean that those routes are not going to be reopening, they're not going to be served. But basically at the moment you can only book like something about 2 months in advance, and if you're planning a little bit later on down the year, they're just not released yet. So it doesn't mean that, it's like a plane route, right? Let's say I don't know where you're based, Autumn, but maybe let's say you're in San Francisco, right? The flight between San Francisco and Auckland right now, if you're trying to book too far ahead in advance, they're just not slotted yet. And so that's basically what's happening at the moment. So yeah, also they're the same company. In New Zealand now we only have one bus company around the country, so you won't be able to have the flexibility of being able to go with another company. So that adds a little bit of a tricky add-on to it. So you're saying you want to plan in December. At this stage, I actually don't really see those routes opening until like July, August at the earliest, because due to COVID, they literally just watch what's the demand and just plan for that demand, because they just don't want to incur extra costs by scheduling some route, having to pay for the driver, for the bus, for everything. Because once they schedule a route, right, they're not going to cancel it if someone has booked, and so you may have only 2 people in the bus, and they don't want that to happen. So what they did that they moved to a business model into scheduling bus routes much later. Before COVID, literally those bus routes were always the same, always at the same time, years in advance. So they were just kind of reusing the same scheduling all the time. So that may explain why you are not seeing those bus routes just yet. Don't lose hope, they will open. It's highly unlikely that you wouldn't have like an Auckland to Wellington or those kind of things, which are the popular routes. It just means that they're just not open just right now. So yeah, but yeah, we'll keep you posted once we hear that things are changing and everything.
Yeah.
But literally, they just release like a little bit at a time. So yeah.
And if you're looking for day tours in any specific places, maybe just let us know.
Oh yeah, that's what you're asking. Yes.
In the comments, and maybe we can we could suggest some alternative day tours to take if you were really, eager to book sooner rather than later. Maybe we can point you in the direction of some alternative companies that may be taking bookings at this time, and then at least you know that you've got your spot. So let us know in the live chat.
Mustache is saying woohoo, celebrating his awards, which I did display twice on screen because I'm terrible at my live editing of this video, but I'm getting slowly better. Where's Natasha Rodriguez, one of our awesome Confused Nat Patreon? Ta-da! What is she saying?
She says, "Hi friends, sorry I'm late. I'll be in and out of the chat as I am running errands today."
Oh.
Very nice.
Natasha is getting married soon, so I'm pretty sure she has a long to-do list. Lots. Michael is asking a question.
Robin, is it true that you have an eating disorder?
I don't have an eating disorder. I just eat tapeworm once a week in order for them to pass it out and actually lose weight. That's not an eating disorder. That's totally normal to do.
All right. Okay, Robert and Michael are having their own sort of little discussion. So we'll leave them to it. Narish says, "Hey guys, morning." Hey.
Good morning. Yeah, so Michael, Robert, and Clay are having a discussion about things.
Yeah.
Nathan
listening to Howard Stein anyway. Nathan says, "Could you please give me some ideas for things to do in Christchurch? Because I have looked on the website, but I may need a little bit more info."
Wait, so you went on our website on like 20 things to do in Christchurch and you want some more? Is that what you're saying? Or do you more info about each of the stuff? There is what's the what? I'm not sure.
Okay,
but yeah,
also,
my favorite things to do.
Yeah, I was just going to say, also, Nathan, because you do ask this question like quite a few times, quite a few other shows, maybe if you let us know, perhaps like maybe if you're willing, are you looking for free things to do? Are you looking for stuff that is maybe to do with, I don't know, adventure? Or are you looking more for food? Or are you looking more for, maybe it would be easier to come up with something that we can hone in on something that you really want to do if you give us a little bit more of an idea of what sort of activities that you're looking for. But maybe we can just give you something random right now as well.
Yeah, so now what I want to show you is on the site, right? So that's the reason why I'm getting a little bit confused, because for example on the site you can go by destinations right here, and if you go to Christchurch right there, you will have like a lot of articles. So if you say you went through here, I don't really know. So you can curate by like how you want to travel, but also you have like the best things to do. For example, there is 15, there is 17 free and cheap things to do. So there is quite a lot of them right here on the screen. And so that's why I'm asking, do you want more than those? Because that's going to be kind of a hard thing to cover. Or do you want more information on each of them that maybe we don't cover on the site? So I'd love to know which part of that question is what you are looking for. And in the meantime, by the way, I'm just scrolling through so you have some ideas of things to do in Christchurch right here. Look at that. Boom, on a screen for you, mate. Look at Laura's face. Thank you, Laura, for writing all those things. You're the best.
Thanks. He also says that I'm looking for things to do that are in a budget. So
free and cheap things to do, yeah. Well, one of my favorite things to do would be to go to Brighton and you go on the pier over there and just check out the surfers. I think that's really awesome.
Another cool
like
thing
that.
to do would be to go to Littleton and take the ferry, which is quite cheap, over to Quail Island, and you can spend the day doing walks and learning about the history over there. You can also go to Sumner Beach, which is a really nice beach suburb of Christchurch, where you can learn surfing or watch surfers, or go and stuff yourself with ice cream. Go to check out some sort of archway and rock formations that are at the end of Sumner Beach.
Christchurch is also called the Garden City, so check out one of the many gardens that there is. And literally in the middle of the Christchurch Botanic Garden, not in the middle, but literally next to the Christchurch Botanic Garden, there is also the Canterbury Museum, which is free as well. So here you go, that's plenty of things really cheap. And there's also Quake City if you're interested.
You can also jump on the tram, which is pretty cheap. A hop off tram to go around the city, and that's kind of a cool novelty thing to do that you can't do in any other place, in any of the cities in New Zealand.
There is plenty of street art around. There is also the bridal path walk as well. So
cool.
Plenty of options for you, Nathan.
And Nathan says, thanks for the ideas.
Nice.
You're very welcome.
Okay, we're back to Naresh.
Naresh says, Did we need a PCR test result while leaving New Zealand? Depends where you're going to, Naresh.
It depends on your country of arrival. If you live in New Zealand is like, you can take COVID with you.
Yeah.
You're good.
If you mean... Sorry, go on.
No.
I was just going to say, if you mean coming to New Zealand, if you need a test before coming to New Zealand, then you do need either a PCR test, an RAT test, or a LAMP test, lamp test, rat test, you know. You can choose any one of those 3 tests to do for coming to New Zealand, but in terms of actually leaving New Zealand, it depends on your arrival destination.
This video has the lowest amount of hike on any of our live videos in the last 24 months, apparently, according to YouTube. So it's doing terrible. So if you feel like hitting like to say thank you for all our hard work, you can. And also, by the way, there is the question of the day. I'm going to put the logo right here.
Question of the day.
Ooh, question of the day. What is it? The question of the day. If you guys want to vote for the question of the day, have you ever skied down the slope of an active volcano? Yes, no, or where can I do that in New Zealand? There's only a handful of minutes left for you guys to vote, so make sure you do that. Let's go back to the question. We have DG Border Whiskey NZ says hello. That's Clay.
Hello.
That's
yeah.
Clay. DG Border Whiskey NZ saying hello.
That's true.
There's absolutely no way. I do not believe that whatsoever.
Funny.
Okay, then we have a Xenion, whatever.
Hello, I have a
Xenion.
job opportunity in New Zealand and I wanted to know, what is the internet situation there like? Cost and quality.
Well, right now we're having fiber. We're celebrating fiber thanks to our amazing Patreons, which helped us afford fiber. So yeah, fiber is costing about $110 a month for unlimited, and yeah, that's pretty good. Depending on where you are, obviously, you wouldn't get fiber everywhere. We finally just got fibers a few months ago, so yeah, that's kind of like the price. You could get, like in bigger cities, you can get a little bit cheaper for like about $90 to $110 for unlimited fiber.
In terms of having access to free Wi-Fi, you know, when you're in cities and you go to, you can find free Wi-Fi hotspots. It's not as developed as other countries, so don't rely on that. Basically. Okay.
All right.
Yep.
So Michael is talking to Robert about Howard Stein. So I don't think that's a question for us. Tamo is saying, Clay, there's been so many border questions, has it? No, he's not drunk too. He's just tipsy right now, I guess, Tamo. Nathan says, I'm looking for things to do on the budget. We covered that. Michael congratulate himself for breaking Robert. Oh no, Robert is unbreakable. He was almost broken by the New Zealand government, broke all his hope of coming to New Zealand, but now that the border are reopening, he's back in full force. So unbreakable Robert is still around. What is Autumn?
Days says, thanks guys, I was mainly looking for transport from Christchurch to Mount Cook. I will be staying there for a few nights, and Mount Cook to Queenstown. I'm afraid to drive in NZ as I am from Canada.
Well, first up, you shouldn't be afraid to drive in New Zealand. We both come from different countries and we were fine driving in the country, so you'll be okay. And second, that's interesting. The Mount Cook journey was literally what I was looking at to help Joey plan his trip. So yeah, there are buses, obviously, that do this journey. This is going to be long. So you may want to break that off a little bit, maybe stop along the way. But yeah, no, they will reopen. Those routes are big tourism routes. So yeah, they will reopen for sure. But obviously, do not book any accommodation until you have secure transportations there, which is a tip I give all the time to anyone I help planning their trip. Nathan say thank you for the ID. What is B+N saying?
Has anyone done the literary walking tour in Dunedin? I was in Dunedin the wrong day, so I didn't get to do it. I've heard of the art walking tour, but I have not heard about the literary walking tour.
I don't think I've heard of that.
Clay, have you done the literary walking tour in Dunedin? Maybe he wouldn't have, because I don't think they provide like free shots on the tour. But
Clay doesn't know how to read. The only thing he reads is the whiskey bottle. Clay can only read the word whiskey or bourbon. That's why he can read. The other letters don't count.
Yeah. So unfortunately we haven't done that B+N. But yeah. I'll be interested to look more into that. Clay
actually say he never heard of it either. No. So and he's from Dunedin. So that's interesting, B+N. That's something worth looking at.
Christina was replying to
Autumn. Autumn. So Christina is one of our Patreon, and she is from Canada as well. So here you go, Autumn. So she says, I'm from Canada as well, and we are planning a road trip for the month of November. I'm a little leery about driving there, but I will watch more videos on the roundabouts. Well, Christina and Autumn, if you guys want to watch that video when we did a road trip with Laura, Litty filming us driving along the way. I will find it while Laura is answering the next few questions. I'll put a link. It's literally 3.5 hours of us just driving, answering questions, everything. And you'll see us passing through quite a few roundabouts. Literally, almost at the beginning of the video, when we get out, there is a roundabout and everything like that. So you can see us driving and you can get acquainted with driving there. All right.
Cool. So Christina says there are the things that I'm most concerned about. Yep. Natasha says you must now record that jingle and play it every time. I guess that's when we were kind of doing a little bit of a sing-song. Or we could just sing it for you live every time. How about that?
No.
Clay says, I've just found out that you can change your name, Tamo, so I may have to ask my own border questions. Jaro says, which one do you prefer, Christchurch or Dunedin? Dunedin, hands down. Mustache, I'm off to go
I agree.
Yeah. Mustache says, I'm off to go check out your website. That Christchurch demo got me hooked. Do you have a mobile app? No, but our website works on mobile perfectly well. It's all optimized for mobile.
Yeah.
So if you just Google nzpocketguide.com and it's easy to use from there. We have Christina saying, Clay, we can ask about the borders for you too. Michael says, what the actual naughty word? And then Clay says, never heard of it. Come on, give me a break. I can read the percentage and volume too. The higher the percentage, the better, I bet. Michael says, Robin and Lauren, it's Laura. What are some of the places you absolutely hated? There's got to be something. Hated?
No, there's no place I hated. To be quite honest, there's no place I hated. There's places that I find are overrated, which we discussed quite a fair amount lately, so I won't go over that again. But there is some places which I think are overrated, but there's no places I hated. New Zealand is a pretty awesome place. Yeah, if there is a place where I wouldn't want to spend more time in, but it's more for personal reasons. I'm not much of a city guy anymore, and I spend a lot of time in Auckland, so I'm really happy to live now in more like remote areas. So I wouldn't want to spend more time in Auckland. I don't enjoy the traffic. I don't enjoy driving there, trying to park and everything, and I may have to do that next week. And I'm really not looking forward to it, but I wouldn't say I hate it. Loathe it is more the word. No, I'm joking. I'm joking. I wouldn't say I hate it. Auckland is still a pretty nice city when it comes down to city. When I compare to other places where I lived, such as in the US or in Hong Kong or Vancouver was a really nice town, a nice city as well. I think Vancouver gets traffic better, like it's easier to park and everything like that. So yeah, I think Vancouver has a leg up on Auckland. I think on that. Yeah. Anyway, I'm digressing wildly, so let's stop that.
Okay, so we have Michael saying, no, we just did that one. Sorry, Ian the bus driver. Hello, Ian the bus driver. Saying, question for you all again. I'm staying in multiple areas in New Zealand, Wellington, Christchurch, Tirau. Do you know if I need to fill out more than one of the traveller's declaration?
No, you only fill up one when you enter New Zealand. That is it. You don't have to go every town and fill up more paperwork.
No.
But again, Ian, literally the next live session is going to be dedicated to all the paperwork you need to do for coming to New Zealand. I will change the thumbnail and everything, but you can already get a notification. So if you find the live session number 172, it's already on the channel. You just click get a notification there or get a reminder or something like that. There's a button for that. So yeah, join us next week. We will go over all of those things. And yeah, so feel free to re-ask all those questions next week. That'd be great to have everything in one place. So then I can point people into the right direction then.
Sweet. Clay says, Michael, they really love Stratford. Ask them about it. Just watch our Stratford video and you'll see our take on it. We didn't hate it. We love it because it's so random
Yeah.
as a town.
For Christina
yeah.
and Autumn, I gave you the link to the road trip live, so it's in the live chat right now. There's a link, you can watch it. The quality is on and off, right? Because it's literally on cell phone network, so it's as good as it gets when you're on the road. But yeah, it's 3.5 hours or 4 hours of us literally just driving, and you can see how that works. And we chit chat a little bit. Laura swapped the camera from facing us to facing forward to facing us facing forward quite a lot, so you'll be able to see all that.
We have Michael saying, bus driver, AYO, what the fudge cake? Okay.
I am not sure what that means.
And then Michael says, Laura, sorry, I messed up your name. That's
it's not
all
like
right.
it's not like it's written on screen, so
No.
you have no way to know.
Yeah,
there's no way to know how to spell Laura's name. It's not, you know, there's no way.
Natasha says, that's a stretch for Vancouver. None of us would agree with you.
Well, Natasha, try parking in Auckland, and then we'll chat together. You know, what about that? What about that? I mean, I spent about a year in Vancouver, and I spent 4 years in Auckland. I don't know how much worse it got since I was in Vancouver, but yeah.
And you think Auckland's worse?
Yeah, I think Auckland is definitely worse when it comes down to traffic and to parking. Like definitely worse.
Christina says, let's hope by October/November they change the declaration form. Yeah, we'll keep our fingers crossed.
Hopefully, but no matter what, honestly, the travel declaration form is so easy. I mean, it's as far as it go when it comes down to paperwork to get in a country. It is very reasonable. It's very reasonable. Okay.
And then Ian the bus driver says, you rock. Woo woo.
All right. Guys, that's going to wrap up this live session for today. It is 9:05 right now in New Zealand. We'll be back next week, literally at the same time. And next week's live session is going to be dedicated to all the paperwork. Like, I mean, if that is not super exciting, if you guys are not so excited to join another live session where for an hour we're going to discuss all the paperwork you've got to do come to New Zealand, I don't know what I can do. I don't know what I can do. And obviously, we also need to wrap up that poll question of the day. So again, Laura, warm up those vocal cords of yours.
Okay.
Let's go.
Question of the day.
Woo.
Question of the day.
Yay.
Ooh. Okay.
The question of the day is still going
How
on.
long does it go on?
Here we go. All right.
So, have you ever been skiing down an active volcano? 72% of you said no. And 16% said, where can I do that? And 11% said yes.
All right.
So, Robin, where can I do that?
In the Ruapehu Alpine ski field, which is open in winter. It's actually the largest ski field in New Zealand. It's in Ruapehu, and you can access it from a town called National Park. Or Akune is also a good place to stay at. And yeah, here you go.
Enjoy skiing down an active volcano.
All right, guys, we're about to move on to our Patreon exclusive live session. So, Christina, I know that's going to be the first one for you. So you can find the link both on Patreon or in your email address or on the secret Facebook group that you can get. So here you go. And we're going to wrap up with Charlie saying, hey, guys, I'm back. Hey, Charlie, how are you doing?
Bye,
we'll see
Charlie.
you next
We're
week.
leaving now.
We'll see you next week with one if you want to hang out a little bit. All right. And Michael as well says, you're a little bit late, Charlie. Yeah. And Clay's excited about the paperwork live session, saying, I can't wait. Nice. All right. I really need to stop now. 18 likes, 18 viewers. I like it. Bye-bye.
See you next week.